Hello, and today I'll be going over very briefly not only the event itself, but also what should you choose at each spend level. So there are going to be a little bit of variety. It also depends on your kingdom age. I'll cover all of it in this video, so stay tuned. So first off, the most important thing here is not these shells, it is this symbol. You can see them in your inventory here. You do have to be somewhat careful if you are taking a quick peek, because you can actually exchange them by accident. Just to show you as an example, you can do that, right? And so you do want to be a little bit careful of that. Same goes for the crest, right? And these are the more important of the items. I did exchange them already, which I'll talk about. But yeah, let's go straight into it and talk about this. So you have a lot of different options, but some of them are really not good. And the first thing, the most obvious thing, let's talk about the city theme voucher. So ignore the fact that I own them, besides this one. These are very important in my eyes for a pre-KVK 1, especially if you are not a spender. So why do I say that? So the reasoning behind that is that a free-to-play can't get any city themes outside of the anniversary stuff and KVK themes, right? Those are the only stuff you have upcoming. So when you look at this, especially if you're, say, a cavalry player, which a lot of us are in KVK 1, even if you're a very low spender, maybe you get 5511 Mina, or you don't, you do something with the Bay bars, regardless, right? That could be very strong. Archers, maybe that's not really as important because very few people do archer marches unless you're a high spender, in which case, yes, you may want this anyways. And then infantry, unfortunately it's attack, but it's the better than nothing. It's also 5% raw stat for your infantry that you're not going to be able to get on your some other choices, like let's say if you did this. This is a great option. It's clearly, you can see what I chose here, and I'll talk about it quick. In KVK 1, you may see the silent trial, the Delanes, which I can show off on my gear, and you may say, hey, that sounds good, this is the Delanes. Same with the silent trial. And the truth is, they are decent, especially silent trial. Silent trial is a good item. However, there is the issue that it's very expensive. So it isn't a bad idea, but I would personally advise to do the city theme first if you're not going to get it other places. If you are buying Lucerne, if you are doing some of the other options, you did get even Hidden Lotus or whatever it's called, the first skin, which I don't like that skin. I think it's pretty bad, just 5% attack for cav. But if you don't need the theme because you have it already, I think the next best option is going to be the gold heads, right? So these are expensive in terms of it takes 20 crests. However, which by the way is equivalent to 1,000 gems. You could buy it here with gems, but gold heads are universally used. They're amazing for really any kingdom age. I think generally speaking, I would do this as my option. Why didn't I? It's because I actually wanted the Bard's Pendant. So there's very few ways to get this Bard's Pendant. I will also show off this. So this is the Bard's Pendant. You can see I finished my refine on it. I'm now getting 6.5% extra resources every time I gather. Honestly, it wasn't the best decision in terms of what I should have done is made another one, but it was more of a moral thing. I was at 75 refine forever, and I just wanted to finish it off. It's also going to be my pit march, things like that, so it doesn't hurt to have it get that refine. But yes, maybe that wasn't the most min-max. What I would have done in hindsight, if I was min-maxing, is I would get the same blueprint, and I would craft a new one so that I have another march getting 5% more. So purple equipment chests are good, but they're not good for this. New kingdoms, I would throw out just the idea, and you'll probably end up doing it just because it looks like it's the only real option left. Gold keys, when you're done with your other trades, is a great way to burn these seashells because you get so many of them. And I've barely played on this account because I'm, splitting between two characters now. So I have 540, never bought the bundle even, so you should have way more than that even. Yeah, so just to summarize, if you don't have a city theme, I believe the city theme is best. Then I would shout out gold heads are probably the route that everyone else should go. With the exception that you should take note that the Bard's Pendant is an incredibly rare item, and it could be a worthwhile endeavor to get it, especially if you are spending and can get both, grabbing the Bard's Pendant and this. Now, I do recognize that invites the danger of leaving your accessory slot empty in KVK 1. The reasoning behind that for me saying don't worry about it is because you can still get the Silent Trial and the Delanes through not only grinding out camps, but you can also get an egg event close to KVK that I believe has the Silent Trial in it. And so that's a route about it. It's also something worth noting that in KVK 1, you're so tight on materials and blueprints that you're crafting everything for the first time, refining everything for the first time, that, it may not be the worst thing in the world if you can't do this. slightly change if you are a rally garrison lead, meaning a higher spender for KVK 1, because then you may want to get the silent trial per se, so that you can really min-max that. But by the same token, if it doesn't seem like you can expert Martell or something, you're not going to be doing garrison, so you would have to prioritize gold heads. So again, to repeat for the third time now, city theme if you don't have one in KVK 1, gold heads next. Consider if you want the Bard's Pendant, or if you're a rally garrison lead, I'll say get the silent trial. And following that, there's really not much good stuff. You also shouldn't really have much left unless maybe you max the bundle. I don't even know if that would give you any left, but regardless, you shouldn't. If you do have left, I would probably grab just the purple materials, in addition to then killing off any extra seashells with your gold keys. So if you like this brief overview of just rewards and what you should do, I made it out of, inspiration that I keep seeing people do it. I also would note, I should have said this earlier on, so I apologize. I believe if you complete all the event stuff that you can, all these, the protect, you can get somewhere around 90. I'm currently at what would be 91. I haven't finished this event on the main yet, but I did spend 80 here getting this, which means, I would have 91 right now. I haven't spent any gems. So yeah, that's kind of where it would be at. If you feel like you got value, if this answered some of your questions that you had, do leave that like, subscribe for more content. Any questions or more content ideas, leave a comment. I apologize that this isn't the matchmaking video I've promised twice now for my main KVK. There's been some drama in the Diplo, it seems, and it's really dragging on. But hopefully I'll have that content soon. If it drags on long enough, maybe I'll try and make a video about the drama. We'll see. I don't love drama videos, but I also would love to get a video out on my KVK. So we'll see what happens with that. And with that said, I will see you next time.